Good afternoon. Yes, it is definitely afternoon. Welcome. My battery's low. Damn. That's better. We have a fresh battery. Good afternoon. My name's Lee. Welcome back to the studio. I am here today to share the studio with you. We're doing a studio tour today. I haven't done one since I've been in this house because I haven't been filming for this channel since I've been in this house. So no one has seen the studio from the viewpoint of it being an art studio. I have posted videos on my other channel, which is my hobby channel, where I talk about my fiber hobbies like knitting and crochet and stuff. And the studio doubles as my craft room as well. So, I mean, as you can tell, we have yarn. So I have filmed videos over there that take you around the space and show the space off, but it's always focusing on the crafty side of things. We're gonna do an art one today. We're gonna talk about my studio as an art studio, which is its primary function. So it turns out this battery was basically dead too, so I have to change my battery again. And when I do, I'm going to have the camera in my hand and we'll start to show, we'll walk around the studio. Let's see what we got. Let's see what we got. All right, we're here at the door to the studio. I'm going to show you around and hopefully we can get this done before it gets too dark because it is getting kind of dark in here already. I'll show you out the window real quick. It is snowing. Well, it's not actively snowing right now. It was snowing earlier. But as we walk around the studio, you will see, or you will hear that I have squeaky floors. I live in a house that's like 100 years old. It has the original floors. They're squeaky. So if that bothers you, sorry, I can't do anything about it. So I guess let me start showing you around. Like I said, we're here at the door, and this is what the studio looks like. I have this whole room to myself. We knew that I needed studio space and that I would take up an entire bedroom if we got a 2-bedroom house. So we got a 2-bedroom house. And I have a closet here as well. And then I will show you the back room at some point. So first things first is I can give you an overview of like the sections in here. We have my shelving unit over here that has my like office printer. This is what I use to print like labels and all of the stuff that I don't need my fancy art printer for. That's what that printer's for. And then I have a bunch of yarn stuff on here and crafting stuff and some decor items. I have candles and stuff. I'll give you a closer look at things as we go. And then I have yarn and I do have books on here as well. This is my yarn and book shelf. And then I have my work table, which is where I actually paint in front of this nice big window. We have my computer desk, and under here is, well, desk. It's a cabinet, and underneath is where I store all of my paints and stuff. And then we have more yarn stuff, art stuff here, yarn stuff here. And then this is my workbench side of the room. This is where I do all of my actual production stuff. And then we have like trash and recycling. But these under here are like for my conventions. Those are my convention suitcases. And then back here is mostly art stuff. There's not a whole lot. There's a sewing machine. Sorry, that's like the squeakiest part of the floor. I have the sewing machine in here, but besides that, this is all art stuff, and it is mostly art storage. This is where I keep all of my paper and painting supplies that aren't paint. And I also keep all of my packaging supplies, and I keep all of my like stored artwork, either finished or sketches or stuff like that. And then I also have here, this table has like my printer and my silhouette cutter on it and stuff stored back there. I need to do some like organization stuff back here. It is an absolute disaster. And then I also have stuff stored underneath this. But this room isn't meant to be pretty, it is meant to be useful. So we'll talk about the stuff in detail here in just a minute. I don't think I have anything really art related in the closet. I think it's mostly craft stuff. Yeah, I have like paperwork, and then I have craft stuff. This is all of my sewing and cross stitch stuff, blocking mats. I have some clothes in here. But yeah, there's not really any art stuff in there. So we will leave that alone. All right, let's start looking at stuff in detail. Over here, like I said, is where I keep my big printer that I use to print off shipping labels and paperwork and all of the stuff that's not art. And then I have over here is where I keep the actual paper for the printer. Then I just have yarn, yarn, yarn. I have a couple pieces of artwork over here. And then on top here, I have more art. This is an original painting from Evie Mae Adams that I adore. Should put it in a frame, but it's on art board, so it stays. And then I have a photo of my dog. Like I said, just some decor items. I have sewing thread, all of my sewing thread up here. These are folders that organize mostly knitting patterns. I also organize some of my art stuff in the back, like contracts and stuff, but it's mostly like knitting and crochet patterns. And then here's my little altar kind of thing. It's just where I keep some cute stuff that brings me joy. I'm supposed to be starting these socks soon, but I have like a mini painting that I did. I have some very special rocks and stones. Like, look how perfect this is. Amazing. And then some of my crystals. This is a citrine. And then look at this. This one was a gift from Brad. Oh, amazing. These are some cards that I got with a tarot deck that I ordered from Rosin Illustration. And it's just all of them. I try to change one depending on what season we're in at the time. But they're absolutely beautiful. And then I have more yarn down there. And on this shelving unit is mostly yarn, as you can see. I do have some art scattered around here. I have this vintage unicorn wall hanging. And then I also have this piece of artwork that I got at a show from an artist with this cut paper shadow box kind of thing. I also have books up here. I have some books, some inspiration books. Oh, I have an original painting from Ming Doyle over here. That's really fun. But I have some like reference books, and then up here is where I keep all of my zines that I've bought from people. I have a couple of K-pop albums. And then I have some of my like illustration books up here that I love to look at so much. I also have more books down here. This cubby is where I keep my children's books and my fairy tale type books. A lot of those are from me as a child, but some are newer that I've purchased over the years. And then as we go over here, we have more art books, and these are art and design books. I have some coloring books. I have a couple of anthologies. I have some like reference books, like from school. And yeah, that's that. There are a couple more like inspiration books over here, but the rest of these are like knitting. So, all right, over here to my work desk. Down here on the floor, we have my heat gun that I use to dry watercolor when I'm being especially impatient. I move my chair from the computer to the work desk as I need it. But this is what my workspace, my workbench actually looks like. Now, I recently did a little bit of reorganizing over here, but I have here a mug rug that I made a long time ago. It was my only foray into English paper piecing, and I love it. I keep it to protect the table. I usually keep paper towel on top of it that I use for painting. I keep it on top of this just to keep a barrier between my paper towel and the table, and some pencil sharpeners and erasers and stuff. This is my water cup. This is my palette of Beam watercolor stones. This is my cup of watercolor brushes specifically. I have finally got my brushes all organized and they are separated by what I use them for. And these are all my watercolor brushes. Then I have here my two little like working palettes. This one's just in, you know, no name ceramic flower palette from any art store. And then this is a flower palette from Sugar House Ceramic Company that I adore. My mom got me that as a gift. I do find it stains a little bit, so I don't use it, as I'm a little scared to use it. Although I shouldn't. I should just get my act together and just use it as a paint palette. We'll do the windowsill later. It's really dirty because of this plant that is struggling to stay alive. I have this old yogurt cup that has pencil shavings in it. It is about full and ready for me to go, or to dump it. Then I have, this is like my working pencil cup thing. It just has where I toss all of my pens and pencils that don't have a specific place to go. I have ADHD and I have trouble like with piles and stuff. You may see that as I'm showing you around. And this is my solution to a pen and pencil pile. I have a place to just throw them. I have a couple of plants over here. This is a Norfolk pine that I am trying to, I was struggling to keep it alive for a long time, but it seems like it's finally figured out what it wants. And then I have this thing that I don't remember the name of it, but it is starting to bloom. So that's very exciting. I have a couple of rocks. I have my pile of working sketches on my clipboard here that just lives here. I have two cups used as bookends for my working sketchbooks and notebooks and stuff. And one of these, it doesn't quite fit, but this one is my fine liners, my black fine liners. Oh my god, I need to do something with that. This is my black fine liners. And then this is my brush pen assortment with some other things. It has a couple of white gel pens and stuff in here, but it's mostly brush pens. Then on the windowsill back here is stuff that I need to access but don't need to access quite as frequently or as easily. I have my Q-tips. These are from Muji and they are really teeny tiny ones, like the super skinny ones. And I use these in my paintings to smudge out pencil. I have this mug which holds my ink brushes. These brushes are specifically for use with ink, not watercolor. And then I have my little bowl of my acrylic gouache here. And over here I have two of these Del Day pencil cases, and one has my colored fine liners and gel pens in it, and the other one has my very thin colored pencils in it. And that's everything that's here. All right, moving over to the computer section. I have a big clipboard here that I used to use a lot more than I do now, but I can still use it. It's available there if I need it. It's nice and hidden otherwise. Then on the computer desk, I have my computer with my microphone, coaster for drinks. I have a spare stapler and lots of sticky notes. This is full of sticky notes. This is full of sticky notes. That is full of stickers for my planner. And then I have a couple of cards. This is like my library card and a current sticky notepad that I'm using. And my just little pin cup that catches everything to avoid piles. And this is also a sock that I have as my computer sock, so I have something to work on while I'm on the computer. This bowl here holds all of the important paperwork document stuff that I need right now. So any bills that need to be paid. Right now it's got like W-2s in it because it's about to be tax season, stuff like that. And then I have another like knitting project over there. My headphones, and those two things are on top of my scanner here. And my scanner is a Canon Lide 220. There we go. that's the scanner I have. This little thing down here holds junk, pins, ribbon, assorted things. This is a knitting mess. I have a bunch of scrap yarn, and all of these are bags of knitting projects. There's also more yarn in this corner. And I will come back and show you what's in this cubby really quick. I'm going to go over this first, because on here, this is my workbench. This is 2 trestle legs that I got from IKEA and a tabletop. And on here is where I do most of my production and packaging work stuff. I do have my ball winder here for yarn. It lives there. And then I have my Swift. I wind yarn on here, so the Swift is taken off when I'm not using it, but it lives on here too when I'm using it. And then I have, yeah, these aren't important. I was making sure I wasn't showing you anything important. Art supply storage. This is where I keep my paper towels for painting, and all of my inks and stuff are over here. I have Sumi inks. I have a couple boxes of Blackwing pencils. I have all of the washi tapes that I'm currently using and washi tape dispensers. And then in here, I got this little storage thing from Michael's several years ago. Well, here I have all of my spare stuff. So I have spare pencils in these 3 cubbies of my favorite kinds of pencils. I have, for my favorite like cheap pencil, I have my Palomino Forest Choice, which you can buy in like big boxes. I have those. And then these are my favorite pencils for under watercolor. And these are the Caran d'Ache Swiss Wood pencils. I love those for a dark, crisp line under that doesn't smudge with water. And then these are all of my Prismacolor Cool Erase spares, and I have them in my favorite colors because I only really use like 4 colors of them. Then I have like stationery pens. I have all of my Sharpies, I have all of my highlighters, I have just like regular writing pens. And then I also have the weird stuff in here. I have like my Faber-Castell pit brush pens in here. I have my spare Le pens because that's my favorite fine liner. Weird colorful pencils here. White things. And then underneath here I have, this is some small paper, but I have all my inks under here. I have my assortment of Noodler's inks. These are my 4 favorite. These are the 4 I have, but I love them and I use them all the time. And then I have a couple of walnut inks and 1 spare black ink down there. And then here I have a cup. Sorry, it's messy. I did not clean. I got like yarn lint all over the table. But anyways, in this little cup here, I keep stickers. These are all stickers that I have gotten from other people, like for me to use on stuff. And I'll get them in packages and stuff, and I'll stick them in here, and then I'll go dig through here whenever I need a sticker for something. This is actually my scrap tin for when I'm caking up yarn. I always get these little bits and I fill this up and then I dump it into a bigger bag when it's full. And under here we have some refill stuff, a bunch of things that used to be in a wallet, spare things, you know, junk drawer basically. And then this one is full of washi tape. So whenever I need to pick a new washi tape, I have an assortment. I also keep my big washi tapes in here that, like, see, this one's open. I use it, but it's too big to fit anywhere else, so it stays in here. Over here, I have all of my notebooks and sketchbooks that have not been touched yet. Oh, no, lies. These have been touched. These haven't been touched. But most of these other things have been touched. And then I have bags. I think one of these has... This one is all my crochet hooks, and I don't know what's in this one, but it's probably knitting related. So this is my unicorn cup full of knives. I've had someone mention before that they appreciate that I keep all of my sharp tools in my unicorn mug, and it just has, like, it has a palette knife in it and my regular scissors and bone folders, but it also has all of my X-Acto knives and stuff in it. So that's my unicorn cup full of knives. And the thing that that's sitting on is my tiny paper container. I do have a mask and a panty liner in it because those were in another bag and I just tossed them in here. And a bag of gum for some reason. All right, that's fine. But most of this is, and ribbon, oh my God. This is all like tiny paper for me to use. Slash a junk drawer, apparently. We are not going to talk about this pile of yarn here. This is where I dump my yarn whenever I'm done doing a project and I need to clean it up before putting it back on the shelf over there. We're just not going to talk about that. But behind it here, we have a pin board with some of my enamel. Most of my enamel pins are on this one. Another little cup, catch-all kind of cup. And this is where I put this is my sharps container where I put my used blades. This little storage thing holds miscellaneous stuff. I have, you know, like this one is full of the backs of my enamel pins that are on my pin boards. And this one's full of hot glue and glue dots and stuff and pins. You know, just jewelry findings, paper clips, alligator clips, pins. It's a lot of random finding things are in here. This is also really dusty. I need to dust in here real bad, but it's fine. This mug has some knitting needles in it, but also has pencils in it. It has an assortment of just like regular writing pencils in it, which I also use as drawing pencils. And my tape dispenser and a stapler. I also have this really beautiful candle holder holding a beeswax taper here. You can see I use it. I burned one of these tapers all the way down and this is the second one, but look at this thing. And we have my cutter, my guillotine cutter. Also have a cutting mat. I didn't mention the cutting mat. This is a jar full of fake flowers and plants and stuff that I can use for photos, and then these are the rest of my pins. I hang all of my rulers on the wall. I have a 24, an 18, and a 12-inch ruler, and a square, and a brush. And there's another ruler actually behind this brush, another 12-inch ruler. And then this is my little gallery wall of art and things. Yeah. And then, like I said, underneath here is my suitcase stuff for going to shows. Most of it is empty except for things that never come out, like display things. They live in there. Normally, this is in this back room, but as you will see, there's just no room back there. So now I'm going to show you under here at my little cabinet. Now, this is a cabinet with stained glass doors that I got on Facebook Marketplace when we first moved here. I got this for like $15 on Facebook Marketplace, and it is really gorgeous, solid hardwood with stained glass doors. And this is where I keep all of my actual like painting and art supply stuff. So this may be a little difficult to see because of the light, but under here I have paint palettes. This is a pile of paint palettes over here. I have a couple that I've made, and then a couple of the Prima watercolor palettes. I think I may go through all of my watercolor palettes with you in a separate video, so I won't go through details here. But I also have some Dr. Martin's concentrated watercolors in here. And then I have my specialty like Gansai watercolors and metallic watercolors. I have my main palettes that I use all the time. These are the three that I use the most. And I also have here one of these Viviva watercolor palette watercolors that I have not used yet. And then this tin here holds all of my spare watercolors. My spare watercolor tubes, I mean. I also have here in this jar all of my spare tubes of gouache. I also have a thing of jelly gouache and a box of gouache and a little box of acrylic gouache that are also spares. And then these are also watercolors, handmade palettes, except for this one. And then I have Copic refills. And then this bag here is full of Copics. That's all of my, well, that one and this one are all of my Copics. And then this stack is all sketchbooks that are full. Oh, so I was right. Those are all sketchbooks that are not used. Sketchbooks and notebooks that are not used. And then down here is my stack of sketchbooks that are full, along with like my travel pencil case and stuff. I also have some tools down here. Those are some colored fine liners. This is my dip pen tin. Pardon the noise, but it's got all my dip pen supplies in it. I have a parallel pen, and I have my Alvin compass set that I use for whatever you use compasses for, circles mostly. So that is that. I do have under here also, under my palettes here, are some old Pantone books, and this green container holds all of my like little tech bits. It's got, you know, like my external hard drive and some flash drives and like my wedding photos, all that kind of stuff are in there. So that's that cabinet. I have a couple of notebooks over here along with my tablet, my drawing tablet. But that's everything in this room. I have, over here I have my old mirror. Hi. And a couple of prints that I really love from Pam Wishbow. But all that's left is this back room. So let's do it. Pardon the mess in here, but this is also where I'm overwintering my plants. So there are lots of plants in here. It's also my sewing room. So I have like my, I just never put this away. You're really seeing who I am as a person right now. But I have my sewing machine here with a plant. My Ficus triangularis was struggling a bit. You can see, oh, you can see she was struggling a bit, but she's got berries now, which is really fun. She's due for a water. This is where art stuff is. Like I said before, over here on this table, we have my art printer and my silhouette cutter. Over here is where I store my silhouette cutter supplies and my printer paper, or my art print paper, and my sticker paper, along with a little bit more down here. All under here is shipping supplies, except this tub, which is full of paper supplies, like actual paper, and also like sample books for ordering paper. I have packing supplies. I reuse a lot of my packing supplies from when I get packages, so I just have like piles under here. And then this tray is oil painting stuff. So besides that, everything under here is packing supplies, you know, boxes I want to reuse, filler, things like that. I do have my tackle box under here, which is where I store some of my art supplies. That's what I used to carry around in college to keep all of my art supplies in, and I still just have some of them in there. So if I need them, I know where they are. And then on this big shelf over here, well, I guess let's finish talking around the shelf. I have some convention supplies here. This is where I keep all of my art prints and all of my stickers. And then I have washi tapes and bags and stuff stored on this little rack. And then on the shelf here, well, you see I have some secret things under here. Those just hold like odds and ends, bits that I don't know what to do with, things that are like personal and not business related and would not fit on the shelf. I just kind of tuck them under the shelf because who cares? I have coloring books here in the corner. I also have some more coloring books under here. You can see that one. There's that box there and this box under here. Those are coloring books that are good, you know, A grade coloring books. These over here are B grade coloring books, the ones that they messed up. So that's great. We love to see it. Those are actually for sale in my shop at a discount for like $10 each. They're super cheap, and there's nothing wrong with them except they were bound on the side instead of the top like I originally wanted. That's the only thing different. All right, so here we have my big storage shelf. I would actually like to get some extra like actual physical shelves here, and I can put another one like under here and up here and make like a skinny shelf. But on the left side here, this is almost all shipping stuff on this side. We have backer board boards, we have some flat boxes here, and we have sleeves and bags here and here. We have envelopes here for mailing. This shelf is not shipping supplies. This is actually all of my original artwork. This is my pile of original art, along with some finished knitted cozies and crocheted coasters that I take to sell as little goodies sometimes. And then this shelf is more envelopes and stamps and freebie stickers. And then the top shelf here, I do have varnish and packing tape up here and some rubber cement, but I also have my extra shipping envelopes there as well, my flat mailers. And this thing is where I keep my miscellaneous tech stuff like batteries and my hot glue gun and things with cables or just loose cables, stuff like that. I just kind of get stuffed in there. On the top here, I have one container that I'm not sure what's in it. I think I looked a while ago and decided I needed to do something else with what was in here. But this one is full of my sketches. I have a lot of loose sketches and they all end up in this box. And then this last little thing up here is my long arm stapler for zines and stuff. The next shelf down here is all of my paper. Over here, I have stacks of illustration board. I have a couple of colored tone paper, notebooks, some boards, watercolor paper. This is all pads of watercolor paper in Bristol board. This is all loose watercolor paper. Along with in here is all of my, I do have a roll of tracing paper, but most of the stuff in here is small scale paper. I have a couple of new sketchbooks over here with some packaging paper. And then this is all my sticker storage. I have stickers on top, but I also have stickers all on the inside here. This one actually I think has pins in it as well. Yeah, it has like my pin backer boards and stuff in it. This box is pins. It has my leftover what wooden pins I have remaining, and it also has my enamel pins in it. And I have all my washi tape, and I have mini paintings. I have one big original painting. I have boards to paint, to do oil paintings on, and my light box that doesn't work. And then the bottom here is mostly packaging supplies again. This is a big stack of flat boxes. Behind there, I know it's hard to see, but behind there is more flat boxes. Those are the small ones I send enamel pins in. And then I just have some oil painting supplies, and these are cards down there. And I think we're not going to talk about any of this. I really need to clean in here, but I'm kind of like not motivated to do it. I'm just not motivated to do it until after I can get my plants out of there. So for the winter, it is the way it is. But that's it. That's the whole studio. I think at some point I will do a like watercolor palette tour and show you all of my watercolor palettes specifically, because those are, you know, the main thing that I use. But yeah, thanks for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed that little bit. I'm gonna head down, try to find something to eat because I'm getting hungry, and I will see y'all next time.